This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, students. I'm Dr. Divya from TeenEinstein.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. So we are in the 4th chapter, right? Reproductive health. Hope all of you have clear with all these concepts. If you have any confusions till this, you can ask me whether you want to repeat any portions or not. So up to last class, we were discussing about main topics of this chapter. That's for both board and NEET exam. So now in this class and in the next class, we'll be discussing about some general topics from this chapter, which is especially for NEET exam. Okay. In this, some general concept you may get like general questions in NEET exam. So note down all these points, like direct questions you may get, like some organization or some health, all these reproductive health programs and the methods which we are using, like contraceptive methods, such things and all, you may get direct questions only, but note down all these points. That won't be there for your board exams. Okay. So let's move to the topic, reproductive health. So reproductive health. Mainly, first we are going to discuss what are the objectives. See, you will get some application type questions from this. Okay, they will include 2-3 concepts into one question, so that you can think and write the answer. Such type of questions will be there from this part, like general questions. So reproductive health, the objectives. Mainly we are going to tell now the objectives, then the related topics. So let us know about the objectives of this topic. See, what are all the main objectives of reproductive health programs and all? Just why we are learning this chapter, just to understand the population problems. Mainly we need to understand the population problem, then importance. We need to learn the importance of this reproductive health. See what is the importance of this reproductive health, that we need to understand first. Then the population problems. If reproductive health and related to that, population problems will come. Plus minus or pros and cons of that population problems. Then different kinds of birth control, like population explosion, when it will come, when birth, we need to learn about different kinds of birth control programs or birth control methods, and then family planning measures. Then reproductive awareness. What is the importance in nowadays? What is the importance of this reproductive awareness, or how we can provide a solution to that population issues? And what kind of awareness we need to create among people just to solve this population explosion. So then we need to learn about the sexually transmitted diseases and importance of that diseases, then awareness towards that diseases, then how they are getting, or that transmission of those diseases, how it is getting from one mother to a baby, how it is getting transferred through generations. That we need to learn. Symptoms of those diseases, then treatments which are available and how we can cure these diseases. and in which stage we need to find out these diseases. All these things we need to learn. We need to create awareness among people. So to understand the condition of this sexually transmitted diseases, then all awareness programs, we should be aware of all these programs. So that kind of understanding should be there in these objectives. When we are setting an objective for a program, that should include the positive side and negative side of a program, right? We should know, we should have a thorough idea or overall idea about one program. So if you are reading one chapter, we should know what can questions and what and all the positive and negative sides of the positive effects and all the negative effects will come. What we will get, what is the important thing from that. So everything we should know. So such programs, government has took initiation for such programs. So that kind of awareness and condition, different technology issue, this issue. Infertility is another problem which people are facing. So there are different technologies which are developed to overcome this issue. Then about assisted reproductive technologies, assisted reproductive technologies, that these are the main objectives of reproductive health programs. So to understand the general importance of reproductive health, then to understand the population problems, then we need to learn how reproductive awareness can provide a solution to the population problems. How it is providing a solution. See, we are conducting a program or we are giving initiation to a program. We should know how this reproductive awareness program can provide a solution to the population explosion or population problems and that. And to study different kinds of birth control and family planning measures. The study of different kinds of birth control methods and related studies. Then family planning measures. Then learning about sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, and in the sexually transmitted diseases, they are very important, right? And we should know in which stage it is getting transferred or how we can cure that or how it is getting transferred from a mom to a newborn baby. So all this, we should be aware of all this, each and every disease, how it is getting transmitted. And in which stage, in early stage of childbirth, whether we can detect it or not. So all these things we need to know. Then study the modes of transmission, then symptoms, what are all the symptoms, how we can make out whether a newborn child or newborn baby is having a disease or people are having this kind of diseases and how we can treat or the treatment related to that. Then treatment options available for these different sexually transmitted diseases. Then mode of transmission. As I said, main thing is mode of transmission. Then understand conditions of infertility and different technologies. Different technologies available for or available to overcome this issue. Understand the condition of infertility, that we need to understand, and the different technologies developed. See, nowadays provisions to overcome the infertility issues. Then learn about assisted reproductive technologies or ART. So these are the main objectives of reproductive health programs. Then from this, you can note down the main objectives of this reproductive health programs. Then next is problems associated with reproductive health. We should know about the problems which is associated with reproductive health. The main problems, the reproductive health, the problems which are affecting the reproductive health or a healthy society, healthy reproductive society, they are overpopulation, then early marriages, then compromise in health of mothers and pregnant women, then deformities, then maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate, then sexually transmitted diseases, this STIS, sexually transmitted diseases, then sexual abuse and sex-related crimes, then amniocentesis. So all these problems, they are associated with reproductive health. We'll go through one by one. So overpopulation, we said about overpopulation. So in our country, main problem in every aspect, it's population issue. That population issue is the, what is population issue? It is the excess or overpopulation we have. So this affects everything. Overpopulation means for the basic needs also will suffer in the coming years, right? For everything, there will be a shortage. If population is increasing in this rate, there will be a shortage for each and everything like basic needs. So that is a major problem which is related to reproductive health. So obviously it will affect reproductive health or reproductively healthy society. This overpopulation will affect that also. And next point is early marriages. So in some places, still in some places and areas, that marriage age, it is very less, right? So as soon as these ladies or women, they are reaching the puberty or at the stage of adolescence, this they are fixing, the parents are fixing the marriage of this child, right? And the children, they are getting married. So people are not strictly following the minimum age limit for marriage which government has declared, right? Still in so many places this system is existing. So in some places like some villages and all, that minimum age which government has, without reaching or attaining the age of 18, we should not get married, right? And for woman or girl, it is 18, and for boy, it is 21. So before that also, so many girls are getting, excuse me, one second. Sorry. So early marriages we were talking about. So in some places still that system is existing. So at a very low age, people or children, they are getting married. So as soon as they are getting the age or that reaching the puberty or at the stage of that adolescence, that time itself they are getting married, right? So this kind of early marriages, that is creating so many issues like overpopulation, then early marriages. All these are affecting a reproductively healthy society. So these are problems which is associated with a reproductively healthy society. So people are not following government rules. That minimum age limit which is set by the government, that is also not properly followed by people. This is also a problem which is related to reproductive health. Then next point is compromise in health of mothers and pregnant women. See that pregnancy period and that duration, that should undergo with the help of, we need a help of doctors, then proper care should be taken. We should get proper food and care in that age, maternity period, that time, everything should be treated in a proper way, right? Medical facilities should be available, then food and nutrition, nutrient food availability, that is very, very important for the health of that mother and the baby, right? So all these should be available. So when this population is increasing, that will affect, it will affect everything. Then compromise in health of mother and pregnant woman. What do you mean by that? See, just now I said early marriages that leads to early pregnancies also, right? That early marriage definitely 90% of that will lead to early pregnancies. So even though that female body is not fit or not healthy to carry a baby, that means a female that getting married, if a lady is getting married, she won't be having enough health to carry a child. That means in such a lower age they are getting married and they are undergoing that pregnancy period. So that also may create issues. So that is also a problem. So in such a lower age they are getting married. In that age they won't be having the strength to carry a baby, or their body is not in a our body is not prepared for a pregnancy period. Before that, they are getting pregnant, and that early marriage is in a way that is affecting a reproductively healthy society. Then next point is deformities. What do you mean by deformities? Deformities means, as I told, these early marriages in that age, that body of a woman that won't be fit to carry or to accept that pregnancies or to that uterus and all won't be strong enough to carry a baby. So the health of a baby, that depends upon the fitness of mother also, right? Every time the nutrient availability, then mother's strength of a mother's body, and all these matters during that pregnancy period. So deformities, they are common in children being born out of early married couples. The children who are born out of early married couple, because the strength mostly it is seen in such cases. Okay, it doesn't have a meaning that only in those pregnancies this kind of deformities are seen. It's not like that. Mostly it is seen because that mother's uterus won't be having sufficient strength or some kind of body fitness. It is less in such kind of women. Then next point is maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate. Maternal mortality or MMR and infant mortality rate IMR. Note down these points because in early pregnancy that will lead to an increased rate of maternal mortality, right? See, if a mother or a woman who is pregnant, she is not healthy, means that will lead to death. Definitely, it will affect the mother's health and it may lead to death also. And in same case, infant mortality also may happen. Infant also may die, right? Because that body fitness, that is very, very important for a pregnancy period, because a lady is carrying another life also inside her, right? So both should have a healthy period during that time. So if that early marriages, that body is not fit, means that may lead to death of that mother and the baby. So the mortality rate because of this early marriages, mortality rate is more, and not only that mortality rate, infant mortality, maternal mortality, both in the case of maternal and infant, both are high in the case of early marriages. Then next is sexually transmitted diseases. What do you mean by sexually transmitted diseases? They are transmitted through sexual intercourse, right? So sexually transmitted diseases are completely due to the lack of awareness about that reproductive organs, then contraceptives, other contraceptive methods, and other devices which is used or which is meant for say sexual practices. So the lack of awareness that causes high disease incidence, right? The lack of awareness is sexually transmitted diseases that may get transmitted through sexual intercourse. So the lack of that awareness of the disease incidence and how the transmission, how it is happening. So the lack of awareness, mainly because of the lack of awareness, It is getting transmitted from one person to another person. Then next is sexual abuse and sex-related crimes. What is that? Sexual abuse and sex-related crimes. This is the one that may cause the, or that is due to the lack of awareness of sexual issues and the health, like sexual abuse and sex-related crimes. That is also a problem which is associated with reproductive health, reproductively healthy society, or reproductive health, that is also affecting reproductive health. Next is amniocentesis. Actually, what is amniocentesis? It is for what it is used. It is for the detection of problem of a growing fetus, early detection. See, after birth, if you are detecting the severe problems of a growing embryo or an infant, it is difficult to treat. So if we are treating it before or by birth, if some problems may happen for that mother, or it is affecting mother's health or mother's life or this baby, both, it is not good for both mother and the baby. From that early stage itself, we can with the help of doctors, we can abort that, right? See, if it after 3 months, it is very difficult. This and all we have already discussed. So in the early stages, detection of these problems of this growing fetus, it is in the early stages, detecting such problem means it is good for further treatments. So sometimes this is misused for sex determination, that is illegal. Such kind of sex determination by using this amniocentesis, techniques like amniocentesis, it is for the detection of problems of the growing fetus, not for the sex determination. That sex determination is actually illegal. Clear? So in this, what and all you need to know that the main thing is the problems associated with reproductive health. You may get questions about maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate, or which and all affecting the reproductive health. Then about amniocentesis, you may get the main problems which are having a major role in reproductive health in society. So these things you need to note down. Next is reproductive health, then strategies employed for solving these problems. See, now we have discussed about the problems which are related to a reproductively healthy society, to get a reproductively healthy society. Now the strategies, or how we are solving this problem, the strategies employed for solving the problem. So mainly in our country, the major problem is overpopulation, right? So this overpopulation, it is having a direct connection with reproductive health, no doubt in that. And to solve this problem, what we are going to do, or some plans and programs were started. Some programs or plans were started, and among this, one program is family planning program. Family planning program, it is initiated in 1951-52. In 1951-52, in that period, that family planning program is initiated. Now so the programs which are employed for solving the problems of this reproductive healthy society. So such program, in that one is family planning program. It is initiated or started during 1951-52, that period. So these programs, not only this program, there are so many programs like this. They are generally called as reproductive and child health care programs. Note down, reproductive and child health care programs. Generally, like just now I read family planning, that is one among that. Okay, there are several programs like that which are called as, together it is called as reproductive and child health care programs. Okay. Then, what are all the strategies employed for solving this program? Awareness. First is awareness about reproduction. So what do you mean by that awareness about reproduction? How we are giving that awareness? Like audio, visual and print media, like government and non-government agencies, both are giving or both are working out on this to create awareness among people about reproduction, about human reproduction. So in such a way, they are giving full support to create awareness about this reproduction, then issues related to that. Then everyone should get involved in such programs to give awareness about or to give information about such reproductive healthy society in awareness programs. All are responsible in that. Next is sex education. So you know that most of the or mainly the students who are reaching that puberty in that stage of adolescence, they'll try to find out about the reproductive organs through some unapproved sources, right? They'll get all kind of wrong information from so many sources. So that may misguide them. So in that age of adolescence or when they are reaching that puberty, that age we should give or guide them in a proper way. We should give proper awareness about their body organs, then all these reproductive organs, then issues or the problems which they are going to face. So we should give a proper guidance in that growth stage, particular growth stage or in the stage of adolescence. Otherwise, they may get so many wrong information which may misguide them, right? So the sex education that should be introduced in schools. So mainly the sex education in that growing stage, sex education should be introduced in schools, and we should encourage to provide right information through a proper channel. And that may give or that may clear so many doubts from children, those who are in that age, those who are in that a particular age. So that may give a clear idea to those children, those who are in a adolescence, in the age of adolescence. That itself will clear so many issues because they are getting a very good and clear-cut idea about their age and the growth or the reproductive organs or what is reproduction. Otherwise, the wrong information may misguide them, right? So sex education, that is having a very important role. Then knowledge of growth of reproductive organ, then sexually transmitted diseases. The proper information about the reproductive organs, then adolescence. Then adolescence means that rapid growth period between childhood and adulthood, right? So that they will be moving from a particular stage to another one. So in that stage, they should get a proper awareness about all this. Then safe and hygienic sexual practices, sexually transmitted diseases, like sexually transmitted diseases in the sense the disease like AIDS, gonorrhea, herpes, etc. All this will help them to lead a reproductively healthy life. Okay. So knowledge, proper information about the reproductive organs, then adolescence, then safe and hygienic sexual practices, then thorough knowledge about sexually transmitted diseases, like which and all diseases, main diseases like AIDS, then gonorrhea, then herpes. All this will help them to lead a reproductively healthy life. Next is birth control device and care of mother and child. So fertile couple and people of that marriageable age. These age groups should know about different kinds of birth control or control measures or control devices which are available now. So there should also be some kind of awareness about the care of pregnant mothers, right? in that age, pregnancy period and after postnatal care, or about all these, that age or people, those who are in a marriageable age, they should have a clear idea about the pregnancy period, like pregnant mothers and how to take care of that baby, postnatal care, all this, they should have a clear idea. Before delivery, what and all should be taken care, and after delivery, how to take care of that mother and that baby with the help of expert people. So people should have a clear idea about that. Then special awareness that also should be done for breastfeeding. We should teach them the importance of breastfeeding, and that male and female child in society, in our society, the major problem is there is a separation between male child and female child. We are giving more importance in society. Majority of people are giving more importance to male, but nowadays slowly it is some kind of changes are there, but mainly that kind of concept is there. Male child, it is important, like that. So we should think in a different way, like all are important, both are equal, like that. Then prevention of sex abuse and sex related crime. So in that, awareness problems, like awareness of all these problems like sex abuse and sex related crimes, we should know about the punishment which is related to that, and what are all the problems in that such kind of sex abuse and sex related crimes. We need to create awareness, like people should think in such a way to take necessary actions or necessary steps to prevent them, and that will help to create or we can solve the problem of a reproductively healthy society. Then next is information of reproduction related problems. See, reproductive health that requires good infrastructure facilities. Then with the help of professionals or professional experts, those who are having the knowledge, and we need a material support also, right? So all these are necessary to provide medical help and care of that reproductive problems, like what are all the reproductive problems, like menstrual problems, menstrual irregularities, then infertility, then pregnancy, then delivery, contraception, then sexually transmitted diseases, abortions. All these are the problems which they are facing, right? Or a reproductively healthy society, they are facing all these problems. So we need medical support to overcome these problems, and better techniques and new programs or new strategies to overcome these challenging issues, right? So that is the main thing, better care and help for such kind of people, those who are facing problems. So in that way also we can solve the problem. Then research, next is research in reproductive health area. Research is in this area, that is for what we are doing research, to support or to find out new techniques and new methods. Like while taking classes, like previous class, and we were discussing about Saheli. Saheli, it is a contraceptive drug which is developed by Central Drug Research Institute. Note down that Saheli, it is a contraceptive pill which is developed by Central Drug Research Institute, CDRI Lucknow. Saheli is developed by CDRI Lucknow. It is a contraceptive pill. So such kind of new inventions from research field, that is also very important. Then medical facilities. Medical facilities means, better awareness about all these sex related problems, prenatal care of mothers, then medically assisted deliveries, then next postnatal care of mother and infant. All this will decrease the child and mother, or the maternal and the infant mortality. That mortality means death rate, that will decrease. Okay. when we are giving proper care in prenatal care and postnatal care, then medically assisted deliveries, then awareness about the sex related problems like sexually transmitted disease, all these, if you are providing all these facilities and awareness, the death rate or mortality rate of infant and maternal mortality rate both will decrease, right? Then small families, then better detection and better cure of the sexually transmitted disease, that will increase the reproductively or the health of a reproductively healthy society, or a good reproductively healthy society will develop if you are providing medical facilities and detection of this curing of the sexually transmitted diseases, right? Then all this will improve reproductive health of a society, means in the sense that will increase the male and female health, reproductive health, and thereby that infant's health also will be in a good way, right? So reproductive and reproductive health, the strategies employed for solving this problem, they are awareness about our population, then reproductive and child healthcare program, then awareness about reproduction, then sex education, importance of sex education, then knowledge of growth of reproductive organ and sexually transmitted diseases, then birth control devices and care of mother and child, then prevention of sex abuse and sex related crime, information of reproduction related problems, research for what? For invention of new techniques and methods in reproductive health area, then medical facilities. Here in the reproductive research and reproductive area, we learned about Saheli. It is a contraceptive pill which is developed by Central Drug Research Institute, Lucknow, CDRI, Lucknow. Okay. The next is amniocentesis. What is amniocentesis? It is for the detection of or early diagnosis program for the growing fetus. We can diagnose the problems of a growing fetus in the early stages itself, right? So the procedure, how the process of amniocentesis. See, this is mainly for NEET exam. The procedure, how that amniocentesis is done. So the procedure involves amniotic fluid which is surrounding that embryo that contains cells which is shed from the skin or some other parts of the fetus, right? See here, inside uterus, this fetus is growing. So surrounding that amniotic fluid will be there. So that amniotic fluid will be having the cells which is from the skin or other parts of the fetus, right? The shed cells will be there. Cells will be changing, right? So those shed cells from the skin or other parts of the fetus. So that sample of that amniotic fluid, it is with the help of a needle or something which is inserted into uterus through abdomen. And this amniotic fluid will be collected with the help of ultrasound system. Okay. So with the help of that, a needle which is inserted to the uterus and this amniotic fluid will be collected, right? And after that, these collected amniotic fluid will be sent to the laboratories and further tests will be done. And analysis of that amniotic fluid will be done afterwards. Then different tests can be performed on the basis of that sample. We have already collected the amniotic fluid, and with the help of that sample, we can do different kinds of tests. And we can find out the genetic risk. Then mainly this test is used to diagnose or to detect the chromosomal abnormalities of that growing fetus, right? And number of chromosomal issues or the chromosomal problems or abnormalities that we can detect through this method. Okay. And some biochemical estimations also we can conduct with this fluid. So this, with this test reports, we can get a clear idea about the growing fetus, health of the growing fetus. So if the child is likely to suffer from a serious or any genetical or incurable genetical issues or something, that particular mother can take an option to abort that fetus. That is legally permitted. Okay, with legal permission, or it is legally accepted. That one, if that fetus, growing fetus, is having severe health issues or any chromosomal abnormalities which is incurable, the mother can decide whether to continue that or whether to abort that pregnancy. Okay, that is legally permitted. But where they are misusing this technique, amniocentesis, because in India, this amniocentesis mainly they are using to detect the sex of the fetus. And for what they are determining the sex of the fetus, whether to find out that unborn fetus, that is a male or female. Because the female fetus, if they have found that it is a female fetus, there is a tendency to kill that fetus or to abort that fetus. So this test, it is legally not permitted to everyone. Just to find out the chromosomal abnormalities or genetical issues for that growing fetus, only with the help of good medical practitioners it is permitted. But it is illegally done for the sex determination. Okay. Next is amniocentesis, how they are misusing the practice of aborting female fetus, especially that is happening in India. Okay, in the same way they are collecting the amniotic fluid, and while analyzing they are determining we'll get the chromosomal details from this, right? So based on that, you can make out it is girl or that is a baby boy or girl, and there is a tendency to kill this baby. If the growing fetus is a female, there is a chance of, or there is a tendency to kill that or abort that pregnancies. So mainly it is legally banned. Next is population explosion. We have already discussed about the population explosion. So what is that population? That means, what is population? That is a total number of individuals or a species which is present in a particular area, right? See, at a given time, the number of species which is present in a particular area. So the scientific study, note down this point, the scientific study of that population, that is called as demography. What is demography? Scientific study. From here, from this portion, you will get a question. What is demography? The scientific study of population, that is called as demography. And that demography that deals with different aspects. Demography, or the study of population, that is called as demography. Demography mainly depends upon three factors or three different aspects. The changes in population size, that in terms of growth or decline, if it is increasing or decreasing, that affects the population size, right? So the changes in population size, then composition of that population, then distribution of that population in a particular space. All these, this demography deals with three aspects. What are the three aspects? Changes in population size, like whether it is increasing or decreasing. Next, composition of that population, then distribution of that population in a particular space. So that demography, it is mainly of 5 demographic processes, right? fertility, then mortality, then marriage, migration, then social mobility. All these makes a demography is depending upon, or it is composed of fertility, mortality, marriage, migration, and social mobility. So within a population, all these five will work together, right? And that determines the size of that population. And the population distribution also depending upon these. Okay. Next is population growth. So what is population growth? There is an increase in the population in a short period or relatively short period. There is a sudden increase in the population. That is called as population explosion. So that growth is called as population growth. So the increase or the decrease in that population size, it is depending upon, see, whether a population is increasing or decreasing. That depends upon natality. Natality, what do you mean by natality? Birth rate. See, these are the terms you need to note down for your NEET exam. Natality means birth rate. So a population growth depends upon natality, means birth rate. If birth rate is more, definitely that population growth will be more. Then mortality. Mortality means death rate. If death rate is more, population growth also will be less. So there will be to maintain a proper population, there is a balance in natality and mortality, right? That should be there. Then immigration. What do you mean by immigration? To a particular habitat, the individuals that have come from one place to a particular habitat, right? Immigration process, all this we have learned. What is that? Immigration. What do you mean by that word? The number of individuals that have come to a particular habitat. Number of individuals come to a particular habitat. Then what is emigration? Those left from that habitat. The number of individuals left from a particular habitat. That is emigration. Okay. Those are going from a habitat. Immigration means that have come to that particular habitat. Next, this natality. Natality means birth rate. Then mortality means death rate. Both this natality and immigration. Natality means birth rate. Then immigration. What do you mean by immigration? Those who have come to the habitat. Note down this sentence. Those who have come to that particular habitat. The individuals, those who have come to particular habitat. Then natality. Natality means birth rate. These both will increase the population. Right? That increases. New birth, it is there means population will increase. And immigration. Immigration in the sense, those who have come to a particular habitat or a new habitat. That also will increase the population size. But at the same time, mortality, death rate. Mortality, what do you mean by that? Mortality means death rate and immigration. Immigration means from a particular habitat, individuals are leaving. Mortality means death. Then those people won't be there. After dying, definitely the population will decrease. Then immigration. Immigration means from a particular habitat, individuals are leaving. Then also number of individuals will be reducing. That will decrease the population explosion or population. So natality and immigration will increase the population. At the same time, mortality and emigration, that will decrease the population. Okay. Next, the population growth or the population growth rate. So what is population growth? Population growth, which is indicated by annual average growth rate. That is indicated by population growth rate. How we will tell the growth rate? the annual average growth rate in a particular year, the average growth rate we are recording. That is the growth rate. Okay. So here you can see the growth rate, increasing growth rate. Here in 2017, it's more, right? So every year it's increasing. Then population growth rate is indicated by annual average growth rate and doubling time. These two factors, they are affecting growth rate. So growth rate is indicated by annual average growth rate and doubling time. Note down. Annual average growth rate and doubling time. This affects growth rate. Okay. And the growth rate is depending upon birth. Definitely it will be there. Birth, it is increasing means, or fertility rate is increasing means, growth rate also will be more. Then death rate. Death rate. If death rate means, just now I said, mortality rate, that also matters. That also affects growth rate, right? Then migration. Then age-sex ratio. All these affects the population growth. Okay. So growth rate is depending upon birth rate, death rate, migration, and age-sex ratio. These four factors. Note down: birth rate, death rate, migration, and age-sex ratio. Then population growth rate, it is indicated by, how it is indicated? Annual average growth rate and doubling time. How much time a population is taking to double? That doubling time, then annual average growth rate. Note down these two. Then what are all the consequences of overpopulation? Poverty, food supply, that also will affect poverty. Poverty means if there are more person in a family and income is less, what they will do? Naturally, they'll become poor. Definitely, they'll become poor. So, with the addition of every new child, the family becomes more poor, right? So, overpopulation, that will create poverty. Then food supply also matters. If the population that is increasing the production of food, that will never increase. That there is a limit. But population is increasing this much means, along with the population, the food supply or food production is not increasing. That so for food also, there will be a problem in future. Then the overcrowding and poor hygienic condition. You know that crowded area, that won't be hygienic because they can't maintain that. So that overcrowded, more number of people in a small area. Imagine how it will be. That overcrowding in that small area, that will lead to a poor hygienic condition, like slum and all. You will be knowing. In slum area and all, it won't be hygienic. Then over a population, that will create unemployment. You know very well. Now that situation is there, unemployment. Those all graduates are not getting employed, right? Then housing problems. There will be a problem, housing problem. Because more number of people, that means they require more houses and more space. Along with the overpopulation, our land area is not increasing. So that is also a major issue. Then this overpopulation will create pollution, because more number of people means the amount of waste which is generated, that also will increase. So that will create pollution. Then lack of education, that is very, very, very important, because the infrastructure for education, to provide education for each and every one, for all this increasing population or increasing number of people, it's not there. Nowadays, it's not there. For current situation, it is not possible. there will be a lack of education. That is also included in the consequences of overpopulation. So poverty, food supply, overcrowding and poor hygienic condition, then unemployment, housing problem, pollution and lack of education. These are the consequences of overpopulation. Okay. Then how to control this population expansion or population explosion? We should give proper education about all these issues. Then marriageable age. We need to fix that marriageable age, and people should take firm decision that government has already set a marriageable age for female and male. So according to that, they should live their life. Then family planning. Family planning actions are very, very important to decrease or to lower the level of this population explosion. Then incentives, providing incentives. Okay, next, this census. What is that census? Now done. This is one neat question. Census means official counting. Official counting of population and preparing data about that age groups, then births, sex ratios, then deaths, then education. Then in India, first census, it is carried out in 1872. So what is census? It is official counting or officially collecting the data of population, then preparing that data about age groups, then education, birth and death, then sex ratio, all these things. Okay. So it is conducted as per the government rules. So that gives the information about number of individuals present in a region or in an area. Okay. So that is census. Next is sexually transmitted diseases. In this, we need to discuss all these bacterial, viral, then protozoa, nematodes, all these diseases we need to discuss in detail. This is very important for NEET exam that we will discuss in the next class. So up to this, you have any doubt? You want me to repeat? See, these topics are not like so much interesting, but you have to. All these terms will come for your exam, for MCQ. That's why I'm repeatedly explaining. So next class, we will learn about sexually transmitted diseases. So anyone is having any doubt? I hope it's clear. So we'll meet in the next class. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.